Yesterday we started with functions in Python. So which keyword is used to define a function in Python?
Def.
Yeah, we use def as a function. Okay, let me def function. Yes. So def keyword we use to define the functions. So we have seen the types of functions like user defined function, built-in function we already use, some of the argument functions, that is parameterized functions, non-parameterized functions. So the n number of parameter we can pass, or we can write a lot of logic while defining a functions. So let me create one more function and then we'll go for today we are going to see the topic of anonymous function. Anonymous. Okay, it's a kind of yes, anonymous function. Anonymous function. So it is also called as the lambda expressions. Okay, you can slash it, which is called lambda expression. LAMBD, lambda expressions. And what it is, how to use that functions. Can see the syntax and the example also. So anonymous function is also known as a function without a name. Function without name is known as anonymous functions or lambda expressions. Okay, let it's very popularly used syntax in Python. So let us revise the things. Yesterday we have done some of the functions. Yeah, you can see that these are simple functions. Def keyword we use, function names, round brackets. Function body, to call the function, use the function names. Second thing, we have seen the parameterized functions where you need to pass the parameters. So the number of parameters you pass for the function, same parameter you need to pass while calling the functions. Apart from this, some of the things we have seen, some function print, that function we can directly call it. But whichever the function use a return, so this function returns, so we'll calling use the print statements. So these are all of the summary about the function. And yesterday I have told you to do one task, means try the many mathematical expression in the functional way. So have you tried something? So let us define the two kind of functions now. The first function which give us after passing number, the number is even or odd. Okay, function for printing even or function for print even or odd. I will define the functions now. Tell me the syntax. We want to write a functions which after passing the number it will print whether the number you have passed is even or odd. Yes.
So even will write just divide by 2.
So that is a logic, that's a perfect logic. But I want to define the functions which accept,
Def.
yeah, def. You
We
can
can
take
give
any
a
name
name.
function for EV order, let's say. Then
Then we will take number.
it's a round bracket, right?
Yes.
and this is a number. So it's a parameterized function. Yeah. Then what's the logic for printing even odd number?
If n divided by 2 is equal to 0, then the number is even. Else
Exactly.
it is odd.
So this is n mod 2, okay, equal to 0. Then we are going to print the even with the same program, but we are doing it with function base. Even else buts. So ELSE here I integrate. Or perfect. You call this function, you can call it runtime also, or even if you want to call in here, that also you can call. EV or so pass whichever the number, it's a even. Call one more times. EV or let's say it's all. Perfect. So this is the reusability of code. Now one more function you need to write uh, for printing multiplication tables. Have you remember the logic function for function to print multiplication table?
Print.
Multiplication table means what if I pass the number, for example, 5, then I will get the table of 5, 5 on the 5, 10 up to 50. So very first we use the def keyword, then tbl is the function name, which is
We
also
will
accept
receive
some number.
n.
Then what's the logic for printing multiplication table? Simply whichever the number we have taken, this number should be multiplied by 1, 2, 3, up to what? 10. So then how we can print the number 1 to 10? What's the syntax for printing number 1 to 10?
Range for
Yeah,
I.
range function we go for. So for I in range. So we have discussed all the combination of the range, default start, default increment, range, everything. So you want 1, start with the 1 and up to 10,
11.
mean 11. So it will print in I variable, we get 1, 2, 3 up to 10. Then is simply we need to multiply that I by n, right? We just go there. And now this function is ready. So whichever the table you want to print, simply call that function and pass the parameters. For example, I want the table of 9. Now, you get the 9 tables. If you want a table of, suppose, any table, 7, you get 7. Perfect. And you want some formats like 2 into 1 equals to 2 and something, something. So that you need to pass first I and something number, comma. You'll go with multiplication symbols, comma, and comma, single quotes, comma, sorry, comma. So I into n equal to n into I. Then I will take this expression, for example, 5. Ooh, what happened? So let me run this. Okay, I directly pass the 5 now. We're not calling the function. How should I expect the outputs? We need to call the function name first, right? TVL of 5. TVL of any number that you want to pass. And see, now I can say the 1 into 5 equal to 5, 2 into 5, 10, something, something. So like that, you can define the n number of function, whichever you wanted, and it can achieve this kind of outputs. Within a function, you can write the if else, for loops, or all the flow control part you can define within that functions. So that's it. Now we'll go for the nested functions. What do you mean by nested? Hmm?
Hello.
Nested means what? Hello? Function within a function is known as
Yes.
nested functions. Okay. Suppose I am defining a function, it's ABC, which is printing ABC. If ABC, I did ABC. So the one more function I'm writing here, def xy shader, which will print xy shader. And if I define one more function called aged, and within that function, if I call the ABC and the XYZ, and if I call the aged function, whether it will work or not. A to Z. See, now after calling the function called aged, what we are getting? A to Z, ABC, XYZ. So this kind of concept is known as nested function. Function within a function, we are calling another function. So these are mixing a function. Even though ABC can be called in the XYZ and XYZ can be called in this also. So you can mix up that. So any function can be called with any other functions. So that is possible. Even you can directly call with the ABC. That is also okay. If you want to call XYZ, that is also okay. Or if you want to call three of them together, so combined with the AZ function. So that is also possible. Okay. What is the function topic now?
Yes.
Yeah, it can create as many function that you wanted. Now the move on the topic that is about lambda expressions. It is also known as anonymous functions or the function without a name. Even though there is a one more name called a single line expressions. Okay, that is also known as a single line expression. Okay, but it is mostly the famous name for this is lambda expressions. Okay, I'll tell you the syntax or the syntax is, and then we'll see the many example of this syntax syntax. See, what is syntax here? The very first, you have to use one of the variable. So let me firstly write a similar function, simple function, and that function should be converted into the lambda expression. Suppose I want to write the function to get a square of number. So how should I define the function? Like we defined def sqr, it will accept one
And
number, right? Either we can return or print n into n. So this is what we return while defining a normal function. So the function name is here str and the parameter name is n. Perfect. But the same thing if you want to write within expression or can call a lambda expression. then how we can define, for example, SQR, okay, is equal to here lambda LAMBDA. It's a keyword that we have to define. After the lambda keyword, we have to specify the variable that we are going to use. For example, I'm using a variable name as an N here. So let me change the color first. SQR is equal to lambda. N is the variable name. After that, colon, then the expression, whatever you want to do with that variable. Okay, so this is what the lambda expression is for the square. How you can call this function? SQR of 5. And how you can call this? Same. Okay, but it is a regular function and it is a lambda expression. So the most of time you have seen something code like this. So that means these are the lambda expressions. Because in our mind we always thought key function always comes with the round brackets. There is a def keyword. Yes, there is a def, absolutely right. But there are some kind of functions, lambda expression or anyways function like this. Okay. So this is what is syntax for the lambda expression. Even if you want to write some of the lambda expression for addition of program. So add is equal to lambda lambda. So x comma y. Now I'm using a two variable here, right? Up to the colon. Use the same variable that we have defined here. Means x plus y. Okay. While calling this function, can go with an add. Can enable number you want to calculate. So the lambda expression is always in a single line. That's why it's called also called as a single line expressions or function without a name. So we are not writing any function. Even you can use a variable also, like a is equal to something or d is equal to something. Okay. So this is the power of lambda expressions. Let me take the example, practical ways. New file, save as in our documents, school, LMBDA, LMBDA, lambda. So x is equal to LMBDA lambda. I'm using one of the variable called n colon n into n. So this is a lambda expression for square. Okay. Lambda expression for SQL is square number. Now you can call this simple. Use a print x of 5. Let's get the output as 25. Okay. Like that, you can write any kind of expressions. But remember, whichever the variable you are using, defining the expression, same thing you have to use after colon. Okay. LAMBDA lambda. Suppose a comma b I'm using, but here I am using x plus y. So this will not work. It will say the undefined variables. Okay. Add AD uh, no, something number 7 comma. You can see there we are having errors that y is not defined because we're using x and the y, and here is declaring it in a and b. So always use the same whichever you have declared, a plus b. Now call the functions. See, we got this. Interesting. This is the lambda expressions. You can create as many as functions, and you can call that function. Okay. Got the syntax for the lambda expression?
Yes.
Okay. And one more thing you have to remember. In lambda expression, we can't use the flow controller in a for loop, while, if else. It's a simple single line expression like this. So mostly used for the calculation or the single line expression purpose only. Okay. If you want to write a complex function where the flow control, for loop, if else combinations, then always go with the some regular functions with the text keyword. Okay. Now let me one more concept we have to understand here. You have to answer it whether it will be work or not. Local, okay, suppose assume that I have one of the variable like x is equal to 100, and I am defining the function to get value. Okay, and I'm trying to print here like x is equal to, sorry, yeah, in double quote, val colon is equal to comma x. Now tell me whether the value will get or it will give the error. See the code carefully. What will be the output of this program? Whether it will give the error that is undefined x,
So
or
it
else
will print.
it will print the 100.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other answer? Or else it will give the error undefined value x. Okay, let us try now. What it printing now? Hundreds. So that means it is accepting the value of 100 here. Simple.
Yes.
Now I will just make a twist and you have to answer it. Suppose I'm taking a x here. Okay. What will happen now here?
So it will
Whether it will give the error or it will print the 100.
error.
Which kind of error it will print?
Undefined.
Not
Undefined value. It's a parameterized function. Okay. So while calling function, it will accept the parameter. Missing arguments. Okay. So I had to pass something value here as a 500. So now you have to answer me whether it will print 100 or the 500. Hmm?
100.
Think.
100.
500 or 100? 500.
100.
No, how it print 100? It print the 500.
But sir, the value is written as a value.
See, the value, the argument value, we are passing as a 500. So that's why we are getting the hundreds. So for your understanding, let's consider that I have taken the value as an n. And now I'm printing n here. Now tell me what will the value?
100.
100 or 500?
500.
How the 500 now? N is what? 100.
100.
So it will print the 100 only, right? If I print the both, now
Both.
it will print both. Okay. Even though if you want to call this, then is that possible? 100 plus 500. So it will
600.
print 600. Okay. So this is what we have to use. Okay. So you have to understand this. And let me add make some twist. Now, if I use an x is equal to 150, so you have to answer me whether it is a wrong syntactically, whether it is a correct. If it is a wrong, what will be the error? If it is a correct, then what should be the value it will print?
Sir, it will give an error.
Give an error.
Yeah.
Which kind of error it will print?
Not defined.
See, it will answer the 250. Okay, let me print one second. Sorry, 600. So why the 600? Initially, it is x is a default value. If I am not passed any value here, so it will take a default value as a 150. So we'll get the answer as a 250. The 150 plus 100 as a 250. So whenever we are passing argument with the value, it is a considered as a default value. Default value means if you're not passed any value, it will accept this default value. But if you pass some values, for example 50, then what will be the output now?
Sir,
Hmm? If I'm passing the value, the next value should be 50.
50.
Then 100 plus 50, it will become 150.
150.
But if I'm not passing any value, then it will accept
250.
default value 1. So you have to try this also expression different. The default value. And you got it? The lambda expressions, nested functions. Okay. So practice this about the lambda expression, then the nested functions, and try to practice this kind of scenario where we have to pass default value and try to use the direct variables. So all this will be useful. Okay. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we are going to see, and that topic is about how to use the function of one file into the another file. Okay. Means what? Suppose I have one of the function here, the lambda expressions, and I want to call this lambda expression in the here. So is that possible that how to pass the one file function into the other functions. So that possibility we'll see tomorrow, because we can call the same function within the same file, but how to make a use of that function to the another files. So that is a concept of models, that we'll see tomorrow. But you have to practice all kind of function with the lambda expression, nested function, value, default value, everything. Okay. Once you're hands on it, we go for the further. Perfect. So practice all the functions, very important for the model purpose and also the program purpose. Any doubt in that? Is that clear? Remember this, okay? Default value. You're not passing any argument, it will accept as a default value. Perfect. What you have seen today, we have seen the lambda expressions, default value, and the you can use many expressions. You can use a nested function within a functions. So this all the function that we have seen. Practice this. I will share with this all the program.